my name is Simeen Kaleem. I did my MBA from Saïd Business School at University of Oxford, and I just graduated in 2024, and I'm from India. I have been working in the social sector for about 9 years now, and my journey sort of started with working on reproductive rights of women in India. And my work initially was about how do we give women access to more information so that they can make better decisions. So my work at Gramhal is really very similar to my work with reproductive rights, where what we're trying to do is give farmers access to information and data for them to make better decisions. Our vision at Gramhal is to democratize data for farmers so that farmers have access to better information and they're able to make better sale decisions that actually affect their income. I want to talk a little bit about my own experiences of how other women have inspired me and shaped me into becoming who I am today. And so women have always played a very central role in my life when it comes to my career, my personal life, just choices that I've made in my life. My sister, my friends, my colleagues, my other scholar friends have played a very fundamental role in sort of shaping me who I am today. And I sort of try to do the same with all the other women that I spend time with. I try to pay it forward the way it was given to me. And be a sounding board, be a mentor that is honest, that's vulnerable, that shares her own honest life experiences without overcomplicating it, without over-glorifying it, and just share what I have lived through and if it could help other women make better decisions or different decisions in their life. And just be their cheerleader. I think most importantly, I try to be the cheerleader for every woman that I talk to and support her in whatever they want to do in their lives. So that's a very interesting question because I was already at about 8-9 years of experience in the social sector, and I really question if I want to come back to school, if it even makes sense for me to come back to school. But at Gramhal, we were struggling with finding that golden mix of purpose, profit, and scale. And I realized that I don't think I can scale an organization if I don't scale myself. I needed to go back to school and sort of learn how to have that golden mix. With Gramhal, there was constantly a lopsided situation where either the purpose was overtaking profit or scale was overtaking purpose or purpose was overtaking profit. All of the mix just wasn't happening. So I thought I needed to go back to school and I decided to go to Saïd. And that was the only school I applied to, in all honesty, is because I think Saïd is a very interesting proposition and a very unique position amongst business schools where it talks about purpose with profit. And that was really my goal of going back to school, to learn how to achieve that golden mix and if that is even possible for businesses to do. My MBA experience was fantastic. I think I found best of my friends. I found safe, vulnerable spaces. I had a lot of unlearning that happened and tons of learning that happened. So I think it was a fantastic experience. And for me personally, I think it was very interesting because Saïd is at an intersection where it is a business school, but it also has a school center. It also has a community of women like Laidlaw scholars. And I was just very blessed to be at the center of all these three intersections. So my experience was out of this world. Oxford is a beautiful town. I think we can't deny that. It's like stepping into a storybook. It's like the Disney world, but in the real world. So the student experience was phenomenal for a couple of reasons. I think at Saïd, I got to also spend a lot of time with students who were pursuing public policy courses and students who were also doing DPhil and other programs through my course at Impact Lab. So I got to meet a lot of folks who were outside MBA, which just allowed me to engage in a deeper debate, into a deeper conversation about what it really means to be here. And I think Oxford provides you that ecosystem of people, the architecture, and just all of it to reflect and critically think about what you want to do and why you're here. Laidlaw meant the world to me, in all honesty. And there's a joke that goes around where we tell the Laidlaw folks that you actually handpick best friends for us. So thank you for shortlisting people. So I actually, 5 of my best friends from business school are Laidlaw scholars. And that just talks about how intentional Laidlaw is about picking who they pick, you know. And these people have actually ended up being on my personal board of directors, where I reach out to them for personal advice, for career advice, for troubleshooting. And it is such a phenomenal space to be a part of women supporting other women, women cheerleading other women. There's nothing like it. And I think Laidlaw actually meant so much more to me than I knew it would. I think Impact Lab at the School Center was very powerful for me. So Impact Lab actually brings people from MBA and beyond the MBA who are interested in pursuing impact careers afterwards together. I think it made me think a lot about 2 things. One is leadership personally, and what leadership means for me, for world, for how I show up, for how I not show up. And I didn't think I had the time or the critical lens to sort of reflect on that before it. Second, I think it made me think a lot about the kind of change I want to bring in this world. Is it systems change? Is it small level change? It's individual. It helped me define the unit of change for myself and what I would be happy and content with. So I think the Impact Lab at the School Center was a huge highlight for me. So Impact Lab is a semester-long program that is run by the School Center at Saïd Business School. The purpose of Impact Lab is to bring folks from graduate programs across Oxford to talk and think about impact critically. So we come together and we question a lot of fundamentals about impact and what it would mean. It prepares us a little bit more for when we step out of the world to be better impact leaders, so to say, and to just have a better eye for what it means when we say that we're going to change the world for better, or we're going to create impact, or we create impact. So it gives us the right tools, the right language, the right ecosystem to sort of examine our own work and to continue what we want to do. I think my biggest takeaway from the Oxford MBA is critical thinking. You know, I didn't just learn how to build organizations or how to build businesses or how to run businesses, but because of how it's positioned at the intersection of purpose and profit, I also learned how to unbuild businesses, how to unbuild organizations for impact, you know. And that I think was very powerful for me. Even when I'm back, I think the whole year when I was at school, I kept thinking what we're not doing right at Gramhal, and do I need to unbuild the organization rather than continuously sort of thinking of scaling and building it. So I think that was my biggest takeaway in terms of skill and thinking that I took back from Saïd. I think there are 2 things. One, I am very cautious of using the word impact loosely. Making impact, bringing impact, lives touched. I think I'm very conscious of those words and what it would really mean. And second, I think I'm more critical as a person. I'm more critical of businesses. I'm more critical of building businesses that are not sustainable, you know. So as someone who spent a decade in impact space, I've come back questioning what would it mean to create a sustainable social enterprise? We should think about revenue as much as we think about impact. And I think that change in mindset about sustainability of businesses, that sustainability of impact, is something that I'm still trying to learn. I'm still trying to sort of build on it. But it's something that sort of stands out when I think about what I've really walked away with. My goal after the MBA is to make a business that is as purposeful as profitable it is. And I have come back with that intentionality, and I would want to do that as my long-term career goal. One of the things I'm doing right now is transitioning Gramhal completely into a farmer-owned enterprise, and it'll turn out to be into a cooperative of sorts that is owned and run by farmer members themselves. And parallelly, I'm thinking of building another venture, which can actually be profitable and purposeful together. How SBS has helped me is, I think, first of all, one of the persons who is going to be a part of my business is my fellow classmate and very dear friend Aditya Angiras, who is going to come together and build the business with me in India. So she has experience in art and culture, communications and marketing. And we actually did an entrepreneurship project together. And to see two people from an EP team come together into real world and attempt at making a business outside a classroom is just, is sort of magical. I think I'm very excited about the journey. I don't know where it will go, but I think SBS has already started to play a very pivotal role in my vision and my future goal. So for our entrepreneurship project, we were a group of 5 amazing women classmates who came together to did our EP. So we worked on EP for my own enterprise, Gramhal, and we looked at how can Gramhal become an organization that funders can take a big bet on, which basically means you're still not big enough, but people are still sort of stepping in and saying that, we trust in the vision and the mission of the organization, and we're ready to take it from 0 to 100 or from 1 to 100. So we sort of tried to position it in that way. We did a new website, we did new communication material, and we did our unit economics all over again to sort of have that language when we talk to donors and funders about our work. So that is what we did in our EP. I think we are living in sort of tough times right now, and anyone who aspires to be a leader has huge responsibility on their shoulders. And my request is, and my thinking is that we need to broaden the conversation just from scaling in terms of skill to scaling so much of our inner work. For example, when I think about future leaders, I would want business schools to not just scale skills of people, but also scale kindness, also scale empathy. How do you do that? We need more kind leaders. We need more empathetic leaders. We need more diverse leaders, So I think for future leaders, I would not just focus on the skill only. I would actually urge everyone to also think about the human side of being a leader, the inner work of being a leader. And that conversation needs to take a center stage right now than just the conversation on skill. It's super basic, but I think we still need to work on it. We have still not nailed it. I still don't think we're doing a good job. How do we talk to diverse members on a table? We still, I don't think we have nailed that language. So for example, if there is a leader from India who's leading teams from US and UK and Africa and other parts of South Asia, what are the right things to say? How do you communicate well that the intent of what you're saying has the same impact? I think one of the things I've struggled with in a diverse setting when it comes to teams is that the intent of what is being said is very different from the impact that it has on a listener, right? And it happens because the context is missing. It happens because the understanding of the others context is missing. And I think that's a skill set that all of us need to work on, especially the leaders. I think you cannot not work on communication if you want to be a good leader. I think my advice to anyone who's trying to apply for the program and scholarship is to be honest and be genuine. There's something about the selection committee at SPS and the scholarship community at SPS that sees right through you. And the most important thing for them is your honesty, is your genuine self. So that is actually my biggest piece of advice. I don't think any one of us have to claim to be superhuman beings on application or on conversations to think that we'll make it to the program. I think the more genuine, the more real you are, the more chances of you actually making it.